So, just going to share my thoughts on the colonization of Mars. And I've noticed that this is a very hot topic, and there is a lot of push towards it, especially when Elon decided to take this as a very serious pursuit. A lot of people got behind him. But in general, the idea of Mars, there is a lot of contention about it, and there are many arguments that are made against it. But I honestly think that the colonization of Mars is a good thing. It's a great pursuit, and it's only natural. If you think about it, humans started off from Africa, and then they slowly crept into Asia, into Europe, other parts of the world. And that's how, humans grew. That's how we took over the planet. That's how we expanded. If you look at the migrations that have happened throughout history, in this country, Australia, where I am at the moment, if it wasn't for Captain Cook, Australia wouldn't have been one of the countries that it is today, which is one of the most developed countries, even among the more developed countries. This country, Australia, has one of the highest um, living quality standards, even when you compare it to Europe, to Canada, to the US. So it wouldn't have been possible without Captain Cook ever showing up. Whatever else happened with his arrival is also a story, and an important one, but it can't be denied that if it wasn't for Captain Cook and if it wasn't for that entire process, that Australia wouldn't be what it is today. Similarly, the UK would not be what it is today if it wasn't for British colonization. It was terrible from an Indian perspective, right? Terrible from an African perspective, Southeast Asian perspective, and many of those countries suffered. If you look at it from a British perspective, they prospered because they ventured out. Now, in the case of Mars, there isn't really anyone else who is being exploited or harmed. So, this is a process that where we really don't have anything to lose. Going to Mars, we're not offending anyone except for people who like to be offended, right? Because what is the worst thing that can happen by going to Mars? That we will discover some precious metal, some resource. We might find water somewhere on Saturn's moon. They say there's water. They say that there's water at on our own moon. So what if tomorrow we develop the technology to bring back that water down here to Earth? Like, what is the worst thing that can happen? We find another colony in Mars for humans to move to, or at least some humans, and that way you're putting your eggs in more than one basket and don't suffer the same fate that the dinosaurs did. That is the worst thing that can happen. It's just a logical step, it's a natural step in expansion, and that is a good thing. And so it's it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me when the argument comes forward that, oh, but we have problems on Earth, why not fix them first? That is a very limited mindset indeed. um, that is the same sort of argument that people would make when they would say, oh, why should we develop a bullet train in the US when we have so many other problems to look at? Or why should India have a space program when we have so much poverty to look at, right? There is a use case for everything, and there are economic benefits to everything. Today, people acknowledge that China has a better standard of living than the United States, and it's because you can see it with your own eyes. You go to any city in China, any major city, amazing railway stations, great bullet trains, the connectivity is out of this world, and they don't have the same crime issues that the US does. So when you think along these lines that only if first we need to solve X and then Y will happen, that is a terrible way to approach things. And that is my simple perspective on the Mars colonization issue as well. regardless of how you think about it, the worst thing that can happen is that we are better off. Seriously. Um, Even if there are attempted Mars missions that fail, the worst thing that happens is that we learn something from it, and we we have a better shot at it the next time. The same way it was done with human space flight, with going to the moon. Every other mission that has happened in space, it happened in multiple attempts, and then we get better at it. So that's my simple point of view on the Mars colonization issue. um, I don't know how relevant it is. It's a bit of a topic that's just um, out in the sky, not super relevant to a lot of people, but nonetheless a very interesting issue. And in some sense, it's a very natural and innate thing to do that.